Should be live now. Let me get us in the stream here. Hold up. 1 second here. I'll figure this out. Damn, my bad, dude.
No, you're good, dude. I always screw up mine. Don't even feel bad.
Bro, I'm trying to add us to the actual stream. How do I add us back here? I know we're in here, but shit, how do I present? Shit. There we go. That should be it there. How do you usually do when you have this?
Do you have
I'm in StreamYard.
I think I see. I have StreamYard. So I see. Do you have it like as an overlay or a background for the main image of?
I think that's what it was. Hold on.
Yeah, I do that all the time. Dude.
I am so slow right now. There we go.
That damn Cowboy fans, man. I know how to work a computer and everything.
It's been a rough year for us, man. We're just thankful to make it.
I hear you, but it's okay.
Welcome to the show, everyone. I am Left Eye E.G.O for the first edition of Wednesday Night Throwdown. I am joined today by YouTube extraordinaire, Kenolly Sasquatch. What's happening, man?
Not much, man. I'm just here to have a good time talking. I don't want to disrespect you and make fun of the Cowboys on your own show, but you know, I'll be polite. I'll be polite because I like you, so we'll be good.
Bro, they're already getting me in the chat right now. C4C is saying typical Cowboys fan. What a jerk.
You guys are having a good year, man. You should be good.
Man, it's a surprising year. We don't even know what we're doing this year, but it seems that we were counted out, and then we actually wound up doing something. So we don't know what to think, man. Your Giants are having an even more astonishing year than even I thought y'all would have.
It's surprising the hell out of me, man. It's amazing. I always tell people it's amazing what good coaching can do in the sport, and what Daboll's doing in Martindale, the defense. That guy is a genius. I don't know why the Ravens let that dude go, but
true.
Yeah, Daboll to me is a legit coach. He's proving to be an actual legit coach. So I'm very happy he's on our side.
And this is year one, right? This is year two.
Yeah, year one. Yeah, wow. And he hasn't even have his own team in there. This is all Gettleman, previous GM's team, and so they're just getting started, and they're already 6-1. So it's pretty impressive.
Okay. So then are we going with Daboll as a front runner for Coach of the Year?
I think you got to, right? I mean, I know there's other candidates. I know you know, they were talking about Coach of the Eagles, and because they're undefeated. I mean, I get it, but to me, when you have a team like the Giants that have been so bad for years, 4 or 5 win teams, just the turnaround you see in the culture of the team.
Okay.
I mean, even if they only ended up winning 9 games this year, it's still an amazing feat. Now you got that extra game at the end of the year, so it's logical from them to win 10 games. I'm not expecting miracles. I expect them to go to the Super Bowl. I think it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. They're just doing a good job coaching up the team.
Okay.
I think they'll have some games where they'll lose when they should win, and vice versa. But I think if he gets to 9-10 wins, I think he's definitely a prime candidate.
Okay. All right. Well, so we're just gonna back it up to the very beginning here, because I know that I'm in Texas, but I'm pretty sure Kenolly Sasquatch is pretty much on the West Coast. So I had a guy that lives on the West Coast. How are you even a Giants fan, man?
Yeah, I get that question a lot from people. So I grew up in New York. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. So all my uncles, my household, are all Giant fans. So grew up watching them, obviously. And when I moved here to Phoenix, so I remember 1986 when they won the Super Bowl. It was the same year the Mets won the World Series. That was a great year for me, even though I was young. And then we moved here in 1990 to Phoenix. And that year is when the Giants won the Super Bowl against the Bills, and that miraculous missed field goal by Norwood. But I've always been, because the family's always been, so just follow them. You know, being in Phoenix, I wasn't going to be a Cardinals fan. So I was like,
"Come on, man, them Jake Plummer years, bro."
Hey, I remember being here at ASU, and when he went to the Cardinals, and it was a fun time. But no, I'm never be a Cardinals fan. I respect them. I'll root for them, but I'm not going to be a Cardinals fan. I'm going to stick to my roots.
Okay, that is fair. I am originally from, I think lived in Illinois from the age of 2 to about 10. So we moved to it was like Louisville or Plano, like when I was 10, and that happened to be like the mid 90s Cowboy dynasty. We're talking Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Jay Novacek, Dallas Moose Johnson, Michael Irvin. Yeah, it was a ridiculous time to be a Cowboys fan. So I was, you know what, I was born in it since then, and it hasn't left me. I know I talked to this about Abomination AJ in our stream on Saturday, but yeah, I lived in Philly for like 12 years. So I went there for like grad school and for my doctorate, and it was a rough 12 years, man. Because there was the Tony Romo years. Just breaks every year. He broke your heart. You know, that was the year the Eagles got Michael Vick, and it was like it was Vick fever. It was so rough those years being a Cowboy fan. Get that 44-6 blowout that year. Bro, I couldn't even study that day. And everyone in Philly knew that I was a Cowboy fan that year. Just asking me, yo, what's going on, man? What happened to the Cowboys? It's not funny, man. It was rough. So I finally got to talk some shit on the way out. But ever since I got back maybe the a year after Dak's last year. I came back last year, so it's been weird watching them be this team from you don't know what you're gonna get one year till the next year's like, oh, Super Bowl. So I have no idea what's going to happen at this point. So yeah, I'm riding. I have to ride that wave, and we'll just figure out what's going on with that one. Yeah. But 1 second here before we go, I was going to address the chat here.
Yeah, please.
Got Mrs. Cannoli Sasquatch. What's going on, ma'am? Whatchamacallit? Got Advent Wrath. What's going on? What's going on? And we got Abomination AJ in the house. Thank you, sir.
There he is. Yeah, I just had him on my show Monday. That was a fun time.
Yeah. Always a good time with Abomination AJ. We'll see we go. C4C. Why, sir? Why? Oh, shout out to C4C who gave us that awesome video that I put up in the thumbnail. That was dope. He did this thumbnail for tonight's episode as well as the one for the video that we put up. He did a great job. That
was awesome. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I don't know what software you use, but that was magic, sir. Oh man. All right. True story. The Dallas don't have cell phones because they can't find any good receivers. True story.
Ouch. Advent.
Aren't even. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna say anything.
No, man. We already 10 minutes into this, and you're already giving me grief, man. I gotta be like that.
Well, he's a Panthers fan, so I don't know, man.
Bro, exactly, man. You invited Coach Killer on your team, okay? Exactly. All right. Just destroying careers over there with that Baker Mayfield. Just waiting for the trash talk to buckle up for a pretty cool Super Bowl story. Oh, I got to hear about this.
I do have a cool Super Bowl story if we have time later. It's pretty awesome, yeah.
Okay, I will have to hear that then. All right. So, whatchamacallit? So we definitely talked about why we're fans. We talked about our good years and, well, you heard my bad years, dude. What were some of the bad years for y'all?
Man, there was a stretch when I was younger where they were pretty bad after. I remember the year that Lawrence Taylor retired. They had lost to the 49ers and it was a pretty rough stretch from that point on. And then they really weren't really good until Coughlin got there again in the early mid 2000s. So I will say, as ironic as this is, they won the last Super Bowl in 2011 and from 2012 all the way until this year has been pretty damn bad.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I know my dad tells me stories about the 70s and early 80s before Parcells got there, and they were like just the epitome of awful in the NFL. So I don't remember that. Obviously, I wasn't around, but so I'm going to go by what probably the last decade alone has been very depressing.
That's fair. Okay.
Just because you go from winning a Super Bowl, and I know how the current NFL is where you're not always going to get back, but like for a market like that with the money they have and the resources and the attraction, bad management, bad coaching, and the ownership was a problem. So it was pretty rough to go from winning a Super Bowl to only winning. I think their record, they only won like 19 games in a 5-year stretch or something. It's really pathetic.
Oh, that's pretty. Okay, that's pretty bad. I mean, that was. Yeah. I think the weird thing that made it worse is the fact that with the draft picks that you did get for being so bad, there really wasn't that big of a turnaround. That's okay. I was like, well, you had what? I think it was you didn't even draft Chris Canty, but you had Michael Strahan, right?
Strahan, yeah.
Like you
I
Strahan,
mean,
and maybe go ahead.
we had no. I would say they drafted bits and pieces. I mean, they got
Right.
Pierre Paul, which was a kind of a just out of the
That,
shot out of the dark, and he
yeah.
ended up being great. But they never could really put it together. And what made me more angry was that with Eli Manning there, which I loved. Not the greatest quarterback in the world, but he showed up. And if you put a good team around him, as was the Super Bowl years,
Oh yeah.
they just never really addressed the offensive line. They never got him the weapons that he needed after 2011. And then they got rid of Coughlin. It was just a mess. The management and the ownership really just had no clue what they were doing.
I would say that because I mean, especially with like I remember the Nate Solder signing. I was like, yo, he won a Super Bowl. He took the big money to go to New York, and it just fell apart. Like,
Yeah.
that was the weirdest thing was drafting O-line for you guys watching. I was like, I know these picks, I know these signings. I don't know what's happening with the line, but
Terrible.
yeah, it never seemed to really come together until at least now. I know we were talking about earlier backstage Evan Neal. For him being what top 5 pick,
Top
Alabama. I mean, top 5 pick. That's not bad. And then you got Thibodeau on the defensive side. So
yeah, I wish they would have went offensive line maybe at that spot. Or
okay.
picks. I like Thibodeau. I'm not a fan of him being picked so high. I think the guy has a motor problem where he's, his reputation in college is that when he wanted to play, he played well. It's just when he wanted to play. He's kind of a me guy. So far, he's been okay.
Mm-hmm.
Strahan's been mentoring him since the offseason.
Oh yes.
So
wow.
if you're gonna have a guy teach you how to be a media star after football or during, he's the guy, Strahan, because he was a great player. He balanced both very well. So guys like Tiki Barber are helping him. Tiki Barber was like that. So I hope he gets it. I like him. I just don't know if I would have picked Thibodeau in the first round. That's all.
That's a fair point. Okay, I can give you that. That's not bad at all. I think we got lucky with Tyler Smith. I didn't expect him to be that good, and I said, I went to undergrad in Tulsa, so I'm just like Tulsa's football team compared to like OU. You don't really get that kind of eyes on you at all. Right. You might get OSU maybe, but for Tulsa, it's like, I'm not really sure. Right. I was telling you this weird thing also that I think I don't know who in the drafting office does it, but they always draft guys that have the same sounding first or last name. Like they had DeMarcus Ware, now we want DeMarcus Lawrence. We got Tyron Smith, now we want Tyler Smith. It's the weird. I don't know if Jerry just says, I like that name, it sounds familiar, get him. And that's it, or what? But if you watch, you'll hear the names sound similar. I don't know who's doing that, but that's what winds up happening. So I think we got very, very lucky with him because it's like I heard coming out of Tulsa, he actually had the most holding penalties like in his conference. Coming out draft year was that
right.
I think from what we're talking about, like maybe on FS1, was that the only reason the Cowboys wanted him was because he turned down a scholarship from Alabama to play at Tulsa. And I think it was because like the NIL deals might have been kicked in around that year. So he might have had more incentive to stay. But I mean, I'm completely surprised with how he turned out, especially for a first round pick. So again, I have no idea what the hell is going to happen. So we're going to see. I mean, let me see if we could show you, take a look at this, at what we've got for our current standings here. So I can show you all this here and bring it up. All right. So this is what we got. All right. So if we're just looking strictly at the NFC East, right, we've got Eagles on top at 6-0. I still think they're fraudulent. Okay, I don't buy it at all. Yeah. I don't. No. You can't throw for 155 yards and 2 touchdowns and expect to win. All right, I still don't see how that to me is going to make sense. Y'all are doing great at 6-1, although you took that L from. That's us right here.
We know. I remember. I remember.
I just need to remind you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Okay. And no one's talking about the Commanders. So, I mean, all right. So if I'm looking at this, right, and we've got, I don't even know if we're checking out, what the rest of you all's schedule looks like. I have to find out what does the rest of you all's schedule look like.
Let me pull it up because I remembered some of it here. Let me see if I can grab it real quick because I do know. Here we go. All right, so
Okay.
we're already past this. So right now we're at beat the Ravens, Jaguar. Okay, so we got the Seahawks at Seattle coming up Sunday, which is the trap game to me because I don't care.
You said it's in Seattle?
It's in Seattle. Seattle's always a tough place to play.
Okay.
I know that they're not. Well, Geno Smith's actually not playing bad. They don't have a terrible team there.
They're saying he might be comeback player of the year. I can't believe it.
See, that's a game that I wouldn't be surprised if they lost. I know that I don't know what the odds are yet as far as Vegas and all that, but that's a game I can see them losing and not be upset about it. Of course, I'm upset when they lose, but that's a game. And then after that, they play Texas, Detroit, and then of course your Cowboys on the 24th. So that's on Thanksgiving.
Where is this one, in Dallas or in New York?
It's in Dallas, yeah.
It's in Dallas.
That's the first time I've seen the Giants playing Thanksgiving. God, I don't know how long. So thanks for you're going to possibly ruin my whole dinner.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right.
I'm
keeping everyone slim. Don't eat too much and indulge.
That's all right, man. I need that, so I appreciate that. Yeah.
All right. Let me go ahead and see if I can check our schedule on here too. Let's see what we've got going on here. And I guess this one right here. All right. So what we got? We're looking at. All right. So beat the Lions. We got the Bears. We'll probably win that. Then I think we've got a bye week. Packers. I think that's a trap game for us. I was like, I see us losing that one. That's whatever Aaron Rodgers decides to get his mojo back. He works best towards the end of the year.
I don't know who he's throwing the ball to, though.
I don't know. He might as well throw it to himself at this point. And or get Jake from State Farm. Somebody, man.
Somebody needs to
somebody
needs to go downfield for that guy.
Yeah. I will say, I'll give you this. If we beat the Packers, then I know we're damn sure losing to the Vikings. I love Trayvon Diggs. I just know he's feast or famine. And he's too aggressive. Like I know I see him getting burned on a double move by Justin Jeffries at least once.
One time.
Yep. Yeah. All right. We're waxing you guys on Thanksgiving.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, honestly, I think the only two games we probably lose are going to be maybe to the Texans. Oh, we're beating the Eagles on Christmas Eve. I know that. That's been a birthday gift. Maybe the Titans. I think that's it.
We're playing Christmas Eve against the Vikings in Minnesota. Our schedule
I think you'll win that one.
Again, like I said, it's so hard to predict what the Giants are going to do because they win games they're not supposed to, and then I wouldn't be surprised if they lost a few they should win. So, my thing is just getting to the playoff. I don't care. I don't care how you get there. Just get there.
Exactly. Shiro saying, "Have faith. Sundays are so fun in our home." They are. It's just I have to. We're superstitious in this household. I have a jersey. Dog's got a jersey. You know what I'm saying? My wife's gonna have to wear a pullover or like this deep fleece hoodie. That's getting We are a unit. I tell her like, hey, if you leave this house, don't come back in the living room. Okay, it's bad luck. Right. If we get pick sixed or it's a sack and you come in, I'm assuming you're the reason of bad luck. You need to go sit down in the garage someplace. Okay.
I like it.
Okay.
I like the superstition. Right. That's how I would do it.
Oh, bro. It wasn't this bad until we started winning. And I'm like, what we did to win, we got to keep doing that.
Oh, I would sit in the same seat. I would take the jersey off. And then when they start,
put
it back on.
Exactly.
Hat a certain way. I'm like, I get it.
Exactly. Exactly. Sorry here for your story here. I say you streaked onto the field for your Super Bowl story.
I mean, I didn't want to say anything. AJ, abomination.
All right, we got Mr. Douglas. What's going on, sir? Good sir. Always good to see you here. And Avon Rand says, to be fair, I fully admitted what a disaster the Panthers are. It's okay, man. You're in the CJ Stroud sweepstakes, bro.
Yeah, you're rebuilding now. That's all.
Exactly. And if you're bad for another 3 or 4 years, who knows? Maybe you'll get Arch Manning. Bro, I think he gets here next year, and I think he might redshirt, but 2025? Yeah. Like, I'm gonna have to go get tickets to a UT Longhorns game. I need to see it with my own eyes. If they're saying he's as good as they say is, I don't know. I've heard he's doing great, but it's just weird.
Cousin who lives in Austin that went to UT, and he might not have connections to the school. So I told him if that happens, he goes,
bro, use those connections, man.
I might be flying out there to watch a game. So
Not lying. And he says, you know
Yeah.
what Matt Rule, David Tepper, and the Panthers offense all have in common? None of them ever scored. Damn, bro.
Damn. But here's the good news, Advent. This NFL is not like the old NFL. You could be rebuild in 2 years and be a playoff team.
Quick turnaround. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike D, no Manning needs to go to Indy. That's fair. I would pray and hope if
Another
Arch
one,
Manning, oh, dude, if they have Indy having the worst record and I'm Arch Manning and I'm number one pick, I'm just like, trade me.
Oh.
Don't send me to Indy. There's no
Yeah.
way. I can't go to I can't go to New York, Indy, or Denver. Like, don't send me to those places. I need to go someplace else. All right.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, we got and forget it. What's up, dudes? What's up, man? All right. I think we pretty much addressed the chat on there as well. So what we got up next on here? Oh, I wanted to check this out. Quarterback ranks, man.
Yeah,
I had to see this for myself. So I guess it's weird because Dax only played technically 2 games, so it's a really weird. It's really weird. It's really weird that he's even on here. But I mean, you know, if we're looking at it, going all the way up top, we've got Patrick Mahomes number 1, no surprise there. Josh Allen's 2, NFL MVP candidate. Jalen Hurts, again, fraudulent to me. Like 6 passing touchdowns in 6 games. Like, it's, you can't have a what's it a 3-to-1 pass interception ratio.
No, I don't buy it. No, it's not gonna
it sounds great, but you're like, I mean, it's been 6 games. Like, you technically would want to have 6 touchdowns in 3 games, maybe
3. Yeah.
Even Joe Burrow's got 15. He's got 5 interceptions, but I mean, 15 passing touchdowns at least.
Ratio's good there, like you said. Yeah,
it's good. It's good. See, Geno Smith has more. It's confusing.
Yeah, he's playing great.
He's playing really great. So we've got how Brady is 9. Fine. This is just that's reputation to me.
Yeah.
Tua's at 10, I guess. And look at this. Daniel Jones is at 11.
You see the passing. We were just talking about the 6 passing touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Now for him, the big number I see is only the 2 fumbles, because this dude is a fumble machine.
His rookie year was rough. That was rough, man.
Yeah, and what they're doing and you look at his rushing yards though. So
that is amazing.
Yeah, Dable has a great plan with him. It's just a lot of short passes. Now he'll try to go downfield once in a while, but they know where his weaknesses and strengths are. Keep everything in front, check down, and if you have to get short yardage plays, use his legs, because he can run. He's fast.
That naked boot is nasty.
It's ridiculous.
I was like, he's pretty damn fast actually too.
Yeah.
I know that you don't have to do the whole RPO because that would be terrible for him, but I mean those boot options. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And wait, is Evan Neal still playing? I mean, it says he was lost to injury, but I mean,
he's been kind of back and forth. They lost a lot of guys in this last game. Their tight end and Evan Neal. So Evan Neal's kind of like one of those game by game basis things.
Wait, what's the injury we're talking about here for him?
He got hurt. I want to say, was it his knee? He hurt his knee in the last game. Something like that. Like, for a big guy like that, you got to kind of be cautious. Their offensive line is depleted. They lost a bunch of guys in the preseason. They lost every game. There's like their injury list.
Somebody's down. That is fair. I'll give you that. But, I mean, it's at least you're to be 6-1 to lose like your parts of your offensive line, your offensive weapons. That's not that bad. It's
they need a bye week very badly.
When is your bye week, man?
I want to say so. I know. Let's see. Where was the schedule at? So I know their bye week is after the Seattle game. So week 9 is their bye week.
Honestly, I'd rather have a bye week into like late October, November, rather than have it like week 3. I think that's the dumbest thing ever.
Well, especially with the extra game added now, these teams need rest. So it's like having it halfway through to me is fine, or almost halfway through.
Fine. I mean, to me, it's like it's either that. I'm okay with 2 bye weeks. For me, I'm just like they really should have 2 bye weeks.
They should get rid of Thursday football except for the holiday, and then just get 2 because that's a Goodell thing. I don't want to get into that. That's a whole nother show. But
bro,
you want to talk about player safety, and it's like, come on,
you added another game. I'm just like, I'm just here for Jerry Jones beef with Robert Kraft. Like that's all I'm here for.
That's hilarious. I've been loving this. I've been loving that,
bro. It was like, man.
That's been epic.
That man said, "Don't fuck with me." He said, "What? Don't mess with me." I said, "Don't mess with me." Oh
I
man,
love that.
80-year-old dudes fighting in a boardroom has got to be the most entertaining thing for me ever. 80-year-old billionaires fighting over who they're going to sign for the commissioner is going to be a pastime for me. That's hilarious. All right, so he's actually ahead of Kyler Murray, and now I got Dak Prescott. This is weird for me just because he's only played 2 games.
Yeah, it's hard to gauge because he hasn't played much.
Yeah, I mean, if you could have put like a dash in between and put like giving him an incomplete grade, I'd have been okay with that. I mean, technically, I would have had Cooper Rush in for Dak Prescott because he's played more games, but whatever.
He's done a hell of a job too.
Yeah, it's really strange. Yeah, I will say this: no one actually figured he was that good at all to do that. So everyone's surprised. I just know he's going to get a pretty decent contract to go somewhere. I don't know where he goes. I mean, I'm trying to figure out.
Do you want him in Carolina? Advent? You want him in Carolina with the Panthers?
Bro, man. I mean, he could score. He could score. He's a decent bridge quarterback.
He could be that stopgap guy, yeah.
3-year deal, 2 years only guaranteed. I mean, that's I would take him. Yeah, either that. He could do that. Houston. I'm trying to
Texans.
I have no idea how the Cleveland Deshaun Watson thing's going to work out, if it ever works out. I mean, he's got a few options. I would seriously consider that at this point. Definitely. So for this segment, if y'all want to chime in and ask a Cowboy fan or ask a Giants fan, this is partly the section to do so. Because I was going to say the question I have for Cannoli Sasquatch is, bro, what are y'all going to do with Daniel Jones?
Oh man, this is the. We talked a little bit about this.
Is this his 5th year or his 4th year?
This is his 5th actually. So he's coming up on his. This is a question I get asked a lot, even from my Giant fan friends, my family, people that I chat with online, and it's like, it really is one of those questions. It's so up in the air. I think I told you before the show too. My thoughts are I don't think he's going to come back. I think Dable's getting what he can. What you're seeing is the best you're going to get out of him. Okay. I think Dable, coming from Josh Allen, right, where made this guy a superstar, and Allen was always going to be good, but he always commends Dable for getting him to that next level with his coaching. So I see them. Here's the problem, though. Daniel Jones, you have a couple of options. You can franchise him if you want. But he's going to kill your cap. But they also have Saquon Barkley, who's a free agent. Do you franchise him? And he's not going to hurt you as much in the cap. So they have a lot of questions. I like Daniel Jones. I don't see him as that guy getting you to the Super Bowl and winning a Super Bowl. He's a game manager, and what you're seeing is what you're getting out of him is the best. I just don't know if he's going to take you to that next level. I see them trying to move on. I don't know how they do it, though. Because if they keep winning, you're not going to draft a high draft pick. It's like, do you trade? Is there a free agent out there that you get in the meantime? I think they try to move past Daniel Jones. I think they know that they have to do what they can with him now and then move past him after this year.
Okay, that is a fair point. I don't know what to do to him either. To me, he's in this weird Kirk Cousins Twilight mystery zone. Like, you don't know what you're going to get. It's like, well, I don't know what life is going to look like without him, but we're not bad enough to get a high draft pick. But I know that we're good with him, but could we do better? Yeah. But I don't know if you want to know what that's like for that, I guess that you don't want to waste a year.
No, you don't, especially if they think they can win. Now, if they're 1-6 right now, this is an easy question. It's like they're getting rid of him, they're going to get a good draft because they're probably going to finish bad. But nobody expected this. So I think what I love about what the Giants are doing, though, is they're saying we're not worried about the draft. We want to win football games. I love the attitude. You got to commend that from the staff. The reason why Daniel Jones is still here now is because of the ownership. Because Mara wanted him.
Mara loves him, yeah.
And Mara's a little too loyal to a fault. And the coaches and the new GM didn't want him. But he said, no, give him one more year. We got to give him a shot. So we'll see what happens.
All right. I have a question, though.
Yeah.
Would you take any kind of draft compensation for him?
That's a good question. I would definitely consider it at this point because I trust the guys in the war room, to pick the right guy. I didn't have
Okay.
that confidence in the past. I think they have smart people running things now. So if it's a good enough deal, I think I wouldn't be opposed to it now.
Okay. All right. That is fair. All right. So, man, coming from Giants Nation, what question you got for a Cowboy fan, man? Let's hear it. Come on,
Oh
throw
God.
it
I think
at me.
I had the obvious one, but I think I switched it. So I'm gonna do reverse to you
Okay.
and still go quarterback for quarterback. Is that
Mm-hmm.
I know you guys have a great defense. You got a good running game. Pieces are there. It's just, is Dak Prescott the guy that's going to take you to the Holy Land and win a Super Bowl for you?
I have no damn idea, man.
See?
I don't. I don't. I need to know who. I need to know number one who's doing the play calling. I need
That's
to know
fair.
who's if Dak is checking out of plays. I need to know what he's checking to.
Right.
Because he definitely tries to check down. He usually tries to he checks down to run plays,
Right.
but he'll do it like on 3rd and 3. It's super
Right.
weird. All right, so technically, we know we're doing things because we definitely got OnlyFans user on here. So I don't know if you saw that. So getting
It's
him up
okay.
out the
I get them
paint.
on my stream, so don't feel bad.
Okay, I was just like, well, who is this? I was like, I don't know this at all. Like, Shiro,
Must
if
be
you saw that, I
random.
don't know
There
this
you go.
person. I guess, man, I need to close out my tab and clear my history now.
Please do. I didn't see anything, man. I closed my eyes. I turned away.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I clear my history, man. Now, I don't know because to me, it's weird because I don't know if Kellen Moore is as great as everyone says he is. Just because you played for the same team and you were there long enough to parlay that into being offensive coordinator, is it really that hard if you know all the plays?
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
You're
See,
comfortable in the system, and yeah.
Yeah, like me and Shiro were talking about this when Cooper Rush was starting. She said, I highly doubt Dak can do it. The chemistry just looked better with Rush on the field from a novice perspective, but sports enthusiast. Right. It did. I mean, Noah Brown looked fantastic because he was a 7th-year player that was on the practice squad. And all of a sudden, he's flashing on the screen. CD Lamb didn't have to do much, which for me means that there's no damn way you should have gotten rid of Amari Cooper. I was pissed when he got dealt for a 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
They're saying it was cost cutting, but for me, it's like, well, I would have just traded away Zeke. Like for me, if you're asking who goes next year, for me it would be Zeke.
Yeah, that was going to be my next. That was going to be my alternate question: is what do you do with Zeke after the?
I have to get rid of him. I don't necessarily start. I pay Tony Pollard high enough money to remain a backup dash running back, and then I get another veteran bell cow running back. I remember the years between Darren McFadden and who was the guy before that?
Oh, God.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name right now. God.
Right, it wasn't Marion Barber, but it was Darren McFadden.
Yeah, I was gonna say Barber.
It's on the tip of my tongue too. I know you know who I'm talking about, though, right?
God, why can't I?
DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray.
Yeah. Yes.
See, how the names all sound the same. DeMarcus Lawrence, DeMarcus Ware.
I used to hate DeMarco because that guy Murray would kill us.
Yeah. So between DeMarco Murray and Darren McFadden, they still got 1,000 yards rushing at least in one season. So it's doable. You have to redraft the line to do that. I get rid of Zeke. I get Turpin more involved. There's no way that he's that good just fielding punts. Like you need to at least have him on one jet sweep a game, even if it's a decoy play. And that's why I'm saying I'm not sure if Kellen Moore is as smart as we think he is, because I remember during good God, I can't even remember the coach. It wasn't Jimmy Johnson, and was it Shan Gailey, I think, when Dion was there.
That's going back, yeah.
You know what I mean? Dion was receiver on a few plays. Right. I'm just like, Trayvon Diggs used to be a wideout. Why isn't he in one formation as his natural position? He's got wide receiver hands, yet you have him play defense all the time. You couldn't have like one play where you put Turpin on the outside, Diggs on the opposite, CD at the slot, and Noah Brown at the slot. And maybe, I don't put, what's his name? The tight end, he's too slow for this. Um, Goodness gracious, Blake Jarwin's not there no more. But I forget the tight end's name. I just know he got franchised this year. But I put Gavin Escobar, I think, in
Mm-hmm.
there. I put a speed lineup on the outside, and I have Zeke
Right.
for protection on the blitz.
Right.
I'm not saying it's unbeatable. All I'm just saying is that how have you not thought about that? I'm just looking at. I'm like, you have
Isn't it
zero
weird though?
speed.
Yeah, when you look at the rosters and how they're putting these teams together in the play call, it's like, what are you thinking, man? Like, I'm not a coach. I'm not going to pretend that I'm the smartest guy in the room, or could we do better than they do? But it is baffling sometimes, and you just like, are you just being stubborn, or is somebody else telling you to play these guys? It's like I don't get it.
Right.
Yeah, put these guys where they're supposed to be playing, and I just don't get it. And they have talent, like I said. I don't know, but I agree with you with the Zeke thing. I think it's time
Yeah.
to kind of
Yeah. I
move
mean,
on.
everyone was saying at this point, he's had a lot of carries. Like I remember we
Mhm.
touched the ball 350 times over 2 years. And it's like, that's a lot for a running back. And after a while, you're going to break down. He's like 27, 28 at this point. So I'm just like,
Sure,
you know what? This is kind of it where it's going to go for you. I
right?
mean, I can see him lining up in LA as one of the Rams
Yeah, that makes
or
sense.
maybe Miami, somewhere we can at least, he doesn't have to be a bell cow anymore,
Right.
but at this point, yeah, I say we move on from him.
Yeah.
But part of me wishes we were bad so I could make sure that Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore get fired.
Yeah, Cowboy fans do not like McCarthy.
We don't, dude.
Yeah.
He's the Pillsbury Doughboy of the NFC East. He tried to be cool and get that beard, but it's just like someone that was
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah.
Just like, no, it's not the way it's gonna work. I just don't know what that. So if we were that bad, and McCarthy and the offensive coordinator get fired, uh, Kellen Moore gets fired. The only problem I have is I know that they're immediately going to say Sean Payton. And I'm
That's
like,
the biggest rumor. Yeah.
right. But the problem for me is like, that's Mike McCarthy. Just a skinny Mike McCarthy to
A different
me.
version. Yeah.
Right. Like, I won a Super Bowl, but then I wasn't good for a few years. I took
Mm.
some time off and I studied the game. And now I just show up. And I'm
Like a rinse
like,
and repeat kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah, to me, it's like it doesn't seem like it would be the smartest move to make at this point. I would like to see uh, our defensive coordinator actually be the head coach. That way,
Right.
you can at least have offensive play calling to your offensive
Right.
coordinator, and that's it. Like he's like,
I
hey, I
agree.
just do defense. That's it. I hire on my guys for that I think can handle the offense, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
I try to steal one of who's from which tree am I going to steal? I could go with the McVay tree,
Ooh.
or I could go with the Shanahan tree. I steal one of their coordinators.
Yeah.
Whichever one performs better, I steal one of their coordinators and be like, "Hey, your lead offensive coordinator / co-coach,"
Yeah.
and
Do your
let that
thing.
happen.
Yep.
Right. So, I mean, the one question I would ask you is this: you can only choose one, and you gotta let me know who it is. Dream player or dream coach that you could get, and if you could only have one, who is it?
Oh man, that's tough. So are we going just current, or are we going like all time
Mm,
coaches and players?
we have to go current,
Okay,
alive.
makes sense. Makes sense. Still
Either.
kicking.
Yes.
Um, that's a good question. So if I'm going coach. That's a tough one, man. God, there's so many good coaches. If I'm going, I want somebody who's young, knows the game. So right now, I'd probably go with McVay.
Okay.
Only because the guy, I mean, I know this year the Rams are kind of but
You're right.
what the guy did when he first got there, he's about, I don't know, how old is he? Like in his 30s still?
He's like
Maybe early 40s?
37,
Guy's
38, I
guy's
think.
very smart, and you don't get to that position by not knowing what you're doing. I think he was the right head coach for Stafford to get there. I think that's what Stafford was missing, a legit
Oh,
offensive minded
definitely.
coach.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say him. Player. Oh man, I would go defense. I love defense. So think right now. This is a good question. You're giving me some good stuff to think on.
Well, take your time, man. Take your time.
So I love good pass rushers.
Okay.
So I love pass rushing and I love linebackers. So if I had to go with right now, I'm going he's kind of old now. I'd probably pick the defensive what's his name from the 49ers. What is his name?
Oh, Nick Bosa?
I would go Bosa or D'Amico Ryans.
Wait, which position is D'Amico Ryans?
D'Amico Ryans is let's see here. Is he defensive end?
Oh, wow.
I'm trying to find information here.
I was thinking DeForest Buckner, but I think he got traded to the Colts.
He did get traded, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean, he's got an overall ranking score of 95 right now in the
Damn.
NFL. I mean, the guy is just a machine. And obviously, there's a few more. Even the guy from the Derek Carr's okay. Yeah, there's a lot of players. I go with him. I go with Bosa or I go with this guy. I want people that can turn a game around. I love defensive players. It's always being a Giant fan. That's what we prided ourselves on.
Mm-hmm.
So I want a good middle linebacker. Even Parsons. I love Parsons. I was so upset the Giants didn't get him in the draft. That guy's a beast.
The thing is, I was checking like the early projections. He was projected number 1 overall for at least 2 weeks at one point. Like I could not believe it.
Yeah,
I
loved
could not
him. Watching him. I'm a Penn State fan, so watching him at Penn State was incredible, and I knew he was going to go high, but he's turned out to be better than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I know that they're really waiting for him to. Everyone keeps saying Lawrence Taylor, but I'm like, I don't think necessarily that's fair.
Yeah, that's a tough comparison. I mean,
yeah,
I hate when players do that. Like, oh, he reminds me of this guy. It's like, yeah, I mean, you could take things from certain guys, the way they play, and compare it to other players, but to compare him to Lawrence Taylor is tough.
No. I was like, I'm I can't even go Ray Lewis. That's not fair. Like maybe a smaller version of Brian Urlacher in terms of like motor. Maybe it's still great. Yeah, that's the closest I can think of. I mean, that's as a linebacker to be. Yeah, I can't. Brian Urlacher is probably the best that I can come up with at this point. Maybe he gets into that mid tier, but I will give him that. Coach, I know this is never going to happen because he played for the Cowboys. He's a Hall of Famer. He's not even the damn Cowboys Ring of Honor. Okay,
right.
But follow me. Can you imagine the Dallas Cowboys with Coach Prime?
Oh Jesus!
Oh my God!
I tell you what, that would be exciting. That would be exciting.
Oh my God!
Oh, that would be exciting. I tell you what, that would be exciting for Cowboys fans.
Yes,
and he's. I like him. He's smart.
Yes.
I think it'll be a great fit.
Right. I was like, yo, I know. The thing is that I know that he did an interview with 60 Minutes, and they asked him that, and he was like, no. They're like, why? He's like, I'd have killed somebody by halftime. I was like, I love it. Which sucks. Guy, well, yes, I love it. I was like, you would know your head coach is your head coach, and that all decisions come from him. It's like any decision outside of that, you'd be like, you know what? I know that that's Jerry talking to you, but I know that Dion doesn't play that game. That's why I'm saying he's not even in the Cowboys Ring of Honor, which is the weirdest thing. Like of everyone that's in it for Jimmy Johnson, I don't think that beef's ever gonna stop until Jerry dies. But Jerry Johnson, I know Deion Sanders aren't in the Ring of Honor for the Cowboys. It's so weird, especially for how well he played. Go check out the chat right here.
You know what? I'll switch my answer to Nick Bosa. I take Nick Bosa.
That's what I was gonna say. Like he's.
I'm sorry. I'll tell you definitely. I like Bosa. He's just a damn good ball player. So he's an animal.
Do you take him over Joey? You take Nick over Joey?
Yes,
that's fair. Nick, because I know Nick was gonna be that good, especially how good Joey was. But yeah, it is. Avid Rand says, "Man, I don't know. We only got cap space for over $10 million in 2 years. Can we afford anybody decent? We do have our eyes on Lamb in 2025. Long shot, bro. You can take him.
Have him.
Yeah, he is not. To me, he's a slot receiver at best. I'm not going to pay $22 million for a slot receiver. He's not that. He's not as big as Amari Cooper was. He's not as great a route runner.
Mm-hmm.
His catching skills for a wide receiver are very questionable. And while he can take contact through the hit, he doesn't have any separation speed. Right. And I haven't seen him do a 50-50 ball yet. Not in the end zone. Not really. He can do a back shoulder fade. That's great. Or over the middle, but I've never seen him just go up and get like Amari Cooper could.
Yeah, that's a good point. You need those guys too.
I got you. All right. So Shiro, I know this is blasphemy, but that Eagles coach is something special. You're right. That is blasphemy.
My ears are bleeding now, but that's okay.
Exactly. You need to be outside the house or the Cowboys game. I don't want you. You have jinxed us.
I'll give Shiro credit though. She's being she's not lying. He is doing a pretty good job, but I can't stand that team. I can't. Oh God, man,
bro. I try to explain that. So I would say that Travis Kelce's brother made it the worst when he was at the Mummers parade, and he was like, "Nobody likes us, and we don't care." It's like you guys are like Rocky, and you won the championship belt, but you act like no one likes you still.
Right.
And it's like every other team I know is like has their fight song. It's either "Go Giants," "How about them Cowboys." The Eagles will say, "Fuck the Giants, fuck the Cowboys, fuck them Commander Redskins." Like that is their mantra. Everyone else is like pro our team. Eagles fans are like everybody else sucks. And I'm letting you know now, whatever jersey you wear in Philly, it doesn't even matter if you're on the same conference. You're gonna get jumped. I'm telling you right now. One of the patients that I was seeing one day, he lived in Philly, maybe 20 or 30 years before I did, and then he was telling me about how a guy wore a Cowboys game at South Philly, and before he hit the bar, he got knocked out and fell in the snow. And the patient was like, he was trying to go out there to go get him. And they were like, bro, if you go out there, you're going to get jumped too, and we're not going to help you. Right. That has not changed. I'm letting y'all know now. Eagles fans do not play. It is straight up gangland there.
Philly fans in general are now. I gotta deal with it on both fronts because I'm Eagles, and then of course being a Mets fan, dealing with Phillies fans, which I think are just as bad. They're rough, man. They're like everybody wants to talk about other. Like I know people give New York fans a bad rep. I think Philly fans are worse, just because they are angry people. Like,
it's very aggressive.
Yeah, they're super aggressive.
Which is why I say the weirdest thing to everyone else is the fact that Sylvester Stallone can be from Canada, make a movie about a fictional boxer in Philadelphia, and people understand it. Like. Yeah. I know that his statue is off to the side, but the weird thing is I was there when Joe Frazier actually had his boxing gym. Like You're like, yo, the guy that fought Muhammad Ali, his boxing gym is a furniture store now.
Wow.
So you're like,
that's a wild.
It sucked. You're like, it was an actual boxing legend, real, and died. Rocky's not real, and his statue is off to the side of the Philadelphia Museum. And I'm like, if you don't understand Philly, like that kind of lets you know how it works.
Weird. And I love Rocky. Don't get me wrong. Obviously. But yeah, if you have to go with an actual living legend, you go with the living legend.
It is so weird. It's the strangest thing. It's
Philly. There's no explanation. It's just Philly.
It is. I live it. Philly has a lot of heart. They are tough but fair. New York, I will say, y'all are a little bit obnoxious. But it's like it's borderline confidence that if you're not from there comes off as being obnoxious,
being like arrogant. Yeah, I get it.
Yes, people from New York love telling you they're from New York.
Yes,
that is true. Yeah, so it's like I get it. After a while, you're like, no, I understand.
Right.
And why Philly fans are so upset that everyone in New York says that Philly is the 6th borough of New York.
That's so true.
I was like, no, I get it. Everyone gets so upset, like, no, it's not. We're not the little brother. It's like, if you're from New York, that's the way it looks. I understand how that goes.
Seems. Right.
Yeah. But who else we got here? Yeah. So Abbott Rant said, I would take Sean McVay from the Rams for the Panthers. He has an offensive innovation. We need the question is cost. Any defensive coordinators that isn't interim will do. I understand that. If it were me, though, I thought after Sean McVay won the Super Bowl, I would have just gone to the booth. Like I thought for me, I was like, I have peaked.
Wasn't that a rumor that he almost wanted?
It was like 10 years, $300 million. It was pretty much the Brady deal, and I was like, I think it was going to be for Thursday Night Football on Prime. I would have taken that. Like for me, it's like,
he
yo,
can always come back to the. He's so young. He could always come back to the NFL and coach. So
right, I was like, dude, honestly, I would have done the Chucky. What's his name? I would have pulled a Chucky. You know, like Gruden.
What is his name?
John Gruden. Yeah, you before you can peak, you kind of like you say, I'm gonna ease out of the back door. Yeah. You're popular enough that people want to have you on TV. So you have your quarterback camp, your offensive skills competition. You're in the booth making tons of money. You know, it's not as stressful.
Yep.
Right. And he said that's what he said before he won the Super Bowl, is that he was thinking of staying with his family and kids. I'm like, dude, within 5 years of you guys getting a decent quarterback, you got a franchise setting corner, first ballot Hall of Fame defensive end or defensive tackle for Aaron Donald? Defensive end.
The end, yeah.
Yeah, you had I think a first or second ballot Hall of Famer in your offensive lineman because he retired this past year after they won the Super Bowl. Right. Like I'm like, I've peaked. I'm done. Yeah. I'm out. I would have taken the money and just been done.
Yeah, and it's something about with coaching though. It's like either they stick around too long or they don't get out when they're supposed to. And I get it. I guess it's an ego thing. But I agree with McVay. I mean, I'd love to have him. I mean, don't get me wrong. Right now, I could have said Dable would have been my ideal coach, but at the time, I didn't know this guy was going to be what he is because he was a coordinator, so I didn't know.
And it's been 50 coordinators have been, offensive coordinators have been 50-50.
Well, it's better than having a special teams coach like Joe Judge, who's put in the coaching position and literally doesn't know what the hell he's doing. That was all, bro. He's a Belichick guy. That's why he got the job.
I will say the funniest one was Ben McAdoo for me, though, man. That was hilarious.
That guy literally, I never hated a coach more, especially when he took Eli Manning and benched him for Smith. And it wasn't because
that wasn't fair.
It's just to let the guy finish his streak. You're not winning anyway. You know you're not winning. Why are you taking him out? And then you brought him back anyway in the same game.
Like, it's ridiculous. He was like, he looked like a substitute teacher.
I have a few things about what he looked like. I just can't say on your stream.
That is fair. That's faar.
He hit the slick back hair and the oversized suits didn't look good.
He reminded me of the principal from Recess.
No, he reminded me of a guy that likes to hang out at schools, and I'm not saying anymore.
Close enough. That's close enough. Close enough. I live across the street from a middle school. Let's just say that he wouldn't be allowed to come to my house. That's fair enough. Fair enough.
Thank you.
But exactly. But I mean, so I guess the last question that we're asking is overall, who's going to win this division?
I don't believe the Eagles are as good as everybody thinks. If I'm going to make an intelligent assessment here, I'm not going to just say the Giants because I'm a Giant fan. As much as I love them, I'm realistic with my teams. I think they will taper off at some point. I just think they're playing way above their station. They don't have the talent level to sustain. So if I had to go based off pure talent, as much as it pains me to say, I'm going to say the Cowboys probably win the division, as they should. Yeah. I just don't see the Eagles or Giants keeping pace. I could be wrong. The NFL's weird, but
sure.
I think the Cowboys have the best defense and running game, and I think if Dak can get himself together, they're just a solid team. So, and it proved that when they played the Giants. The Giants, they had a great game as a battle, but the best team won. The most talented team won on the field that night. That's why the Giants didn't win. I think the Cowboys win the division.
I'm just letting you know right now, we're going to win the division, but it's going to be a first-round exit. That's all I know.
We're going to win. Most Cowboy fans think, right?
Yeah, I'm like, hey, we got Whiskey Banger in here. Go Giants!
My co-host, he's just giving support and love. That's all. He's a Nebraska fan. He's not having a good year.
I'm very sorry. For you here, man. I'm laughing, but condolences, bro. I'm sorry, bro. But yeah, I mean, we got Diana. Was like, Giants are gonna win. I don't know. I'm just saying that I know that whoever doesn't win the division is probably gonna wind up being a wild card.
Probably.
So I mean, I know the Eagles were a wild card last year. Either they're going to get in by being a wild card or they don't make the playoffs at all, which is going to be.
I don't think anybody saw these three teams doing as well as they were.
No.
Especially the Giants. No. I mean, the Eagles, I don't really know what their assessment was. I don't think anybody saw them being 6-0. Cowboys, I think most people expected to win the division initially. But
I did. It's just, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I'm sorry. I feel bad for Cowboys fans, and I hate it's take all the joking aside, because they do have that feeling like you do, that dread. Like, yeah, we'll make the playoffs, but what does it mean? But I
I
understand
know.
that. Yeah,
Like the only loss that we ever really took in stride was Dak's rookie year when we lost to the Packers.
I
Like
remember
that's
that.
the only loss we're like, you know what? Hats off. It's Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers,
But
yeah.
that's what I mean. But otherwise, it's like there's no way we should have lost to San Francisco.
I
I
remember.
know. I'm trying to remember the
That
other
was
losses we've
heartbreaking. I
had,
can imagine.
bro. And that's why I'm saying like it. I look right at Mike McCarthy every time. That's how I'm like, even if you are just trying to play the call, do the play calling, or you give it over to Kellen Moore, someone has to call timeout. I know you ran out of timeouts, but I mean, I thought they lost a challenge before that, and that took away the timeout that ultimately sealed the game.
Yeah.
And that's what's so heartbreaking about our losses. Everyone does what they're going to do, except the coach.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's
it's
the knock on McCarthy. That's what didn't who came out? Weren't there a bunch of players that came out against McCarthy when he got hired by the Cowboys, like ex-players from the Packers?
I know there were.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I
know there were a few.
Yeah. I mean, Whiskey Banger's comment there. He's a big. This dude eats shits and breathes college football, so he knows like every guy should be a scout. But he, I agree with the Parsons part. Like when he wears, I see that star on the helmet. I'm like, damn it, Parsons.
It's hard. It is very hard.
I do root for him because the guy is amazing. So.
Well, I guess it's weird because I would know that Dallas has a weird thing about drafting either Penn State or Boise State players. It was Arkansas's before that because Jerry was an offensive lineman for the Razorbacks in like the 50s, I think. But I mean, they love getting like a Sean Lee, Leighton Vander Esch. Was he Boise State? I think. I can't remember for him, but and Micah Parsons. So he just fell in our lap. So I mean, it's really weird with who they draft. I don't know what we're gonna get, but it's gonna be a strange season. Whiskey Bang, we're definitely gonna have we might have to have a college edition, bro, because I need to ask you about this whole expanded CFP thing.
This guy, Filipino Meatball, are like the epitome of just college football knowledge. It's insane. We get together and watch games. It's like I'm getting an education in college football. So if if I ever decide to do a college football show in the near future,
I'm in.
You're on, buddy,
bro. Especially at year's end, like either before or after the Super Bowl, we gotta get to like, hey, look, season's over. Draft is set. You know, what moves do you be seeing made? Who's top tier? Where? Because I know I'm not paying money for ESPN Plus to read those draft analyses. We're gonna do our own. We'll
do better than they will. Don't worry.
Exactly. We're not Mel Kiper. I can't have that weird Afro perm back.
Well, he's losing his hair. You notice it's like
is that what that is?
Smaller. Yeah, he's older now, so his hair, the helmet's getting a little smaller. If you haven't noticed,
it's looking like that leather helmet now.
Yeah, exactly.
Whiskey Banger says he's definitely down. Let me check this.
We'll set that up.
I'm good for that. Avid Rand says, "What do you think of Tyler Smith at OT? I got him on DraftKings. He has piqued a little interest from me. So this is the thing. The only game that I really saw him really play was the Dax game that he went out injured on. I know he had a few holding penalties. He was kind of slow, maybe a false start penalty here or there. I don't know if I trust how he's played since Cooper Rush was in. Because in pass protection, if you just know your quarterback's north or south and it's not going to run, all you're doing is this. And you're hoping that Cooper Rush gets it off before 4 seconds, which is what he was able to do, which is, I think, why we did so well. I could take a gamble on him because it's going to be the Bears. Only thing is, if I'm looking at fantasy for your running back, I'm picking whoever Chicago's running back is because our run defense is terrible. I know we spent a 6th and a 7th round pick on this defensive tackle, but he's 30 years old and I had never heard of this guy. So, I mean, I'm taking, if you want to go with the offensive line of Tyler Smith, and I'm going with the running back of the Chicago Bears because we're probably going to get torn up on the ground. I don't see Justin Fields really hurting us in that regard, but I don't know what Tyler Smith's going to be like if he has to block for a mobile QB.
I think
That's
you're
the
right. I
only
think the
problem I
Bears are
have.
going to just try to pound the ball a lot in that game.
That's
It's
what
all,
I
it's all
would.
they really have. Justin Fields is not beating you. So
Exactly. So, and I got right here. Let me try this here. Abbott Rath is going devil's advocate with the Eagles. That's fair. I'm not gonna lie. I like Nick Sirianni too.
yeah,
And he belongs in Philly. Like
yes,
those
he's a Philly
that
guy. Yeah,
he's a Philly. That's what you want in Philly. Like living in
yeah.
Philly, that's the guy you want. He talks shit. Got that Italian name, like South Philly, South Philly Italians. Y'all get down with
Yep,
that. I'm okay. It is
yep.
not like, oh God, what was his name? He coached for Oregon, and he was in Philly. He's at
Oh my
UCLA
god.
now.
Yeah. Oh, God. What's his name? He's the guy with supposed to be an offensive genius coach. And
And
oh
he
my
did,
god,
yeah. I don't even
Whiskey
know. I
Bang.
both
Would know if you're whiskey. Who's the coach of UCLA right now? Oh god, I can't think of his name. The
right,
one who would try to have the fastest offense in pro football, like a college team, and it didn't work
right.
out.
He tried to. He was like pretty much. He was like the Mike D'Antoni of the
Of
NFL.
football, yeah, yeah,
Right. It lasted. It technically should have lasted 2 seasons
yeah.
because that was it.
It was
Was
bad.
those. It was bad. Like they had that one good year where they had.
Chip
Yep.
Kelly.
There it is.
That's it.
Chip Kelly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Chip Kelly, from the moment he set foot in Philly, did not belong there. And
No.
I was there for those years. That weird, let's make college into the NFL thing, but we don't have college ready players. And that
Yeah, he
wide
looked
nine,
uncomfortable.
he
Very
did.
uncomfortable.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
like Philly was
It
not
just
the place for you to be. So
no,
Oregon to
no.
Philly was going to be rough anyway. But yeah,
Yeah.
Sirianni definitely belongs there. I like his attitude.
Right.
He belongs in Philly. So
Definitely.
last but not least, Miss Kenoy Sasquatch coming through. Super Bowl story. Go on, sir. Take it away.
Well, she put super bowel story, so that sounds worse than it really is.
Okay, I didn't want to bury the lead on that one. That's why I'm letting you take it away.
Well, I'll make it quick. So when the Giants were here in 2007, they played the Patriots. At the time I had a job working security as a secondary job on the weekends when the Cardinals were here through a security company. So I did it as a little extra money. We had a baby on the way coming in soon. I was like, let's make a little extra cash, get to work a football game. My boss at the time, her husband worked there, so he got me in. Nice. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool being in Cardinal Stadium out here working games. I get to watch free football basically on Sundays, and so they asked me to work the Super Bowl.
Wow!
That year. So
wow.
I didn't know the Giants were going to be in the Super Bowl that year. So I'm like, okay, fine. The guy will pay you double time and all. It's a long day, but you get to do this and that. I said, cool. So I'm watching the Giants play the Packers in that freaking frozen 40 below game.
Tundra game, yeah.
It's like it was,
frozen.
You frozen shut and you couldn't even. Yeah, so when they kicked the field goal to win the game to get to the Super Bowl, I'm just sitting there like my mouth open and everybody's looking at me like, what's wrong? I was like, do you get to realize that I actually get to see this team live play? So get to the Super Bowl that day. I'm pumped, man. 7 a.m, a bus takes us in, security. The first security boss goes, you're not going to see much of the game if you're doing this. I was like, well, I'm leaving then because I want to be on the field. I'm the biggest guy here. I want to be on the field. So I did the pregame stuff. I met a bunch of celebrities. I met LL Cool J. I met Alicia Keys. I was hanging out with Jason Taylor. I walked him and his wife to their limo, escorted them. I got to talk to him. He was a really nice guy, really cool guy. It was like an amazing dream come true day. So the game starts and my buddy goes, hey, you're my boss. So they switch supervisors a lot. So the guy goes, you're a Giants fan, right? I almost didn't work the game. Yeah, Miss Philly Satchwatch said that. So my super not wrong.
Your wife always puts you out there.
She's not afraid to. That's what I love about her. So so my supervisor goes, listen, you're a Giant fan, right? Because I used to work with him early on in the season. They go, yeah. He goes, I'm gonna get you close to the game. I was like, all right, because if I don't get close to this game, it's about to start. I'm not staying.
Okay.
So he goes, okay, let's see how close I can get you. Okay. So start walking. We go into the tunnel. I'll tell you, when you hear electric, I mean, you're walking into this dome, and it shouldn't have been closed, but it was a cold day here in Phoenix at the time.
Okay.
The electricity in the stadium, I can't even explain it. You got people going crazy. It had to be at least 90,000 people standing up. And
Jeez,
so
man.
he goes, hey, we're going to walk, joking around with me. He goes, we're going to walk here. And I'm thinking, oh, no, he's not going to make me work the Patriot sideline because I'll kill somebody over here. This is not going to happen. So I'm walking by. There's Tom Brady. I'm like within arm's distance of all these people because I'm technical security.
Wow.
So he stops me and he goes, all right. So I'm like, please don't tell me you're putting me here because I can't do this. And he goes, no, we're going to go here. So he's messing with me for like 5 minutes. I go, what are you doing? He goes, no, I want you to he goes, seriously, I want you to come here with me. He's a good dude. And I'm not paying attention because I'm taking this all in.
Okay.
And I'm standing there and I'm to the left. I hear somebody screaming and I'm like, who the hell? So I come to and I go, it's Michael Strahan within maybe 10 feet from me. And he's talking to the defense. Yeah, we're going to win this game. I was like, so I snap out of it and I'm like, oh my God, like, this, I'm standing next to the Giants sideline so he goes, I want you to do me a favor. He goes, I want you to do your job, but I don't care. He's like, are you ever going to come back and work here? I go, no, I'm this is it.
No,
I'm never going to. So I got to spend the whole game standing next to the Giants sideline, guarding them. And I mean, walking up and down the sideline, coaches in front of me. It was insane. And so when they got to the fourth quarter, that whole experience, that fourth quarter was the best experience I ever had. One of the best experiences of my life, of course, because I like that comeback and that pass with Tyree. I was right on the.
You were there for that game. The helmet catch.
So it all felt like a dream. I saw the catch. So anyway, I went through the whole situation, and then of course when they're about to win the game, so I'm screaming, I'm going crazy. My boss is like, I don't care. He goes, he's a Phillies fan. He was a Philly fan, actually, an Eagles fan. He goes, if this was my team, I would be half naked running across the field. I said, yeah, I'm about to if they win this game.
Okay, all right.
So, true story, man. Yeah, so I got to see them win, and then my guy comes up to me. He goes, I want you to follow Eli Manning onto the field when they win, because he's going to go to the camera, and he's going to say the line, we're going to Disney.
I'm going to Disney World, yeah.
So he goes, but you're going to have to rush the field, and you're going to knock over some camera people, because it's going to be nuts.
Dream control.
And he goes, you have my permission to knock anybody on their ass, because you keep people away from him. So I'm like, okay. So I'm next to Eli Manning, and Eli Manning turns to me and he pats me on the back. He goes, "You ready?" I go, "Yeah." So I'm running with this dude. I was a heavier guy back then. I lost a lot of weight since then. So I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to keep up with this guy? And he's motoring. And so naturally a camera guy gets in front of me, and my boss is by. He's like, push him. So I just and you see his camera go flying and all this, and I'm going, Eli, you got to say the line. He goes, oh yeah. He looks at the camera. He goes, I'm going to Disneyland, and I stayed after the game for a good hour and a half. I shook the hand of Tish, the co-owner. I met a bunch of media personalities from New York that I knew growing up. The best part though was what I was on ESPN. I met Tom Jackson. So I'm doing security. And they're right behind me, like right here. And I'm over here. And my wife texted me back then when we had those stupid old AT&T, brick phones.
The brick phones.
So she's like, you're on TV. And I go, what are you talking? She goes, turn around. So I'm like, wave. And I'm waving. There's Chris Berman. And then Tom Jackson. This was, I swear to God. And Tom, I have a tape of it somewhere. Tom Jackson comes up to me after the ESPN. He goes, dude. He goes, can you believe that game? And I go, no, man. He goes, man, all week long at ESPN, we got emails and phone calls about New England's going to do this. And he goes, I'm so happy those bastards lost. I was like, wow, okay. And then, so I have the actual Sports Illustrated. So there's a picture of when Burris caught the touchdown. And you see me, my little security outfit, and I have my arm up in the background. You have to look for it, but it's there. You notice it.
Bro, I'd have that framed in the house.
The Super Bowl video, you see me in the background cheering. And I mean, I worked a 15-hour day, didn't make a lot of money, but I got a sinus infection 2 days later because I was working so much in the cold. And I told my wife it was worth every antibiotic I put in my body to get better.
That's fair.
How do you, I mean, that's a dream come true.
That's peak life right there.
Yeah, that's the best.
Your kid was born. Your team wins the Super Bowl. You're there to see it in person, and you see everybody. Yeah. You're like, you know what? I'm telling the story every day at the retirement home. I'm gonna fake like I have an Alzheimer's so I can tell it every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I relive it in my head all the time. It was amazing.
Exactly. You know what? I'm not even gonna try to follow up with that, guys. Thank y'all for joining us for Wednesday Night Throwdown. I can't compete with that. Thank you guys so much for joining us from Whiskey Banger, Mrs. Cannoli, Sasquatch, Shiro, Abomination, AJ, C4C. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Even the weird, OnlyFans person that tried to jump in there. Good try. Yeah. Good try. We appreciate the effort though. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully we do this again. I'm not sure if we'll make it a Wednesday thing or not, but we're going to continue with the Throwdown thing because believe me, week 16, 17, it's going to get really real. All right.
We'll see how Thanksgiving goes. Then we'll.
Have you lived your truth by accident?
Were you the guy pushed onto the floor at that?
Oh man, it's kind of like one of those stories where it's a freeze frame and it's like dun dun. dun. He's like, you're wondering how I got here. I have to tell you how Cannoli Sasquatch begins. You guys have a good night. We'll see y'all later. Oh man.